Most people build their product first and then sell it after, and that's why most products flop. You don't need a product, you need a buyer. I've built offers where I made money before I even knew what I was going to deliver, and doing that has made me over 7 figures online in my business with just one digital product doing a little over 900K. And I'm gonna show you how to do it so you never have to waste another month building something that nobody buys. Here's the trap. You spend weeks, if not months, building a course or writing an ebook or coding a tool or designing the perfect service, and you launch it and it's crickets. Why? Because you built it for you and not the market. And I've been there before. I've made that mistake. I wasted a lot of time, energy, effort, and cash on chasing the thing instead of chasing the need. And it's only gonna take me about 5 minutes to break down how you can avoid this trap. So if you don't have 5 minutes to spare, then you'll just get caught up in the trap. And you'll miss out on learning how to basically sell air, because you can create value literally out of nothing. So look, you don't need to be focused on selling a product. That's not what you're selling. You need to sell a promise instead. So you're not selling a product, you're selling a promise. You're selling certainty. You're selling a transformation. You're selling a result, because people, they don't care about your features. People, they care about their future. So you can sell that promise first and then deliver on it later. And this is what I mean by this. Everybody's out here focused on what their product should be when it doesn't matter. So they're like, okay, should I make a course? Should I make an ebook? Should I make a membership? Should I make some type of software? Yada, yada, yada. What is the product? What is the product? What is the product? But they're too focused on what their product should be, and they're not focused on what it is that people desire, what it is that people actually want. And people, they solely want somebody to deliver on their promise. People, they simply want a result. People, they simply just want certainty of a transformation. People want to get out of their current situation and get into their desired situation. That's it. So if you can focus on delivering an outcome, you can sell the promise first before you build on the deliverable. So I'll call it an MVP, a minimal viable product, or a minimal viable promise. One offer with one clear result, pre-sold before you build. And you don't need much to do this. You just need like a simple landing page or a checkout page. Add a Stripe account on there or some way to process the payments, run some traffic to it, see if you get any bites. If you do, you got a proof of concept. Let's go make it. And you don't even need all of that stuff. Like, there's this one guy in my community that's credited at the top community. He just put together a Google Doc explaining the promise that he's gonna deliver to somebody, then process the payment, and then he built the product after, but he pre-sold it through a Google Doc. Didn't spend like 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a year building something first. He just put together a quick Google Doc and then pre-sold it and then made the thing afterwards. And I was able to help him do that because of my failures in the past. So look, in the past, I put together this program. It took me like a month to put it all together. I recorded everything. I had it looking all fancy and whatnot, all pristine. The landing page and the funnel, it just looked great. Everything was immaculate. It was perfect. It was perfect for me, but how did I know it was perfect before I put it in front of somebody? Because once I launched it and I got it in front of people, boom, it was crickets. No money was coming in. So because that happened, I was like, anytime I'm gonna release anything, I'm going to pre-sell it first. Or even if I don't pre-sell it, I'm going to get a wait list, like bare minimum, get a wait list together so I can see if I have any interest off of this before I go and spend my time, energy, effort, money on creating this stuff. So any idea that I have, I get it into the marketplace before I actually build it. So let me give you an example. So I have these things that I call cash flow days. Like any monumental date in my life, I want to see if I can celebrate it by making some money on that day and then celebrating with the actual money, right? So this one particular year, I decided to host a masterclass teaching how I fired my job, because I fired my job April 1st, 2016, and I celebrate that every year. But I was like, I wonder if I can think of a product to sell to whereas I can pay for my fire my job anniversary off of a product. I was like, can I celebrate with just the funds that I make from something that I create? But instead of just creating something and then selling it on my anniversary, I was like, let me see if I can pre-sell this. So I said that I was going to host a masterclass teaching how you can fire your job, right? And I was like, okay, I was going to charge $300 to attend the Fire Your Job Masterclass. So guess what? I announced it, but I didn't announce the masterclass, the way that I was pitching it in my verbiage, in my communication to the marketplace, was that big promise to learn how to fire your job, because I know that I'm an entrepreneur. I make entrepreneurial and business content, and there's a lot of people out there that hate their jobs and they want to know how to quit their jobs, or how I like to say, fire your job, because I ain't no quitter. And they need an exact blueprint to where they can do it, to where it's just not some dream out there, like it's actually something attainable if they just had a roadmap to follow. So I sold the promise, not the product. And guess what? I was getting people to buy and spend this $300 because they were wanting to get the promise that I was saying I was going to deliver. But if nobody said that they wanted that, if I didn't get any feedback of that, guess what? I just wouldn't have done the masterclass, and I wouldn't have been out of any time, energy, or effort. So I did this masterclass. I got these people to sign up for $300, but yeah, I made some money to whereas I could fund my Fire Your Job anniversary for that time. Had a good time, got a nice hotel room, got nice massages, pampered and all that stuff. I like getting pampered, right? But I created a digital product off of that because I made money on the back end off of the recording. So I turned that recording into a digital product, and I sold the recording over and 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 over again, because I was like, yo, I did that work once, but this is valuable. So that's why I love digital products, because you can do the work once and get paid over and over and over and over again once you put it into the proper system. And system stands for saving yourself time, energy, and money. So this recording of something that I pre-sold turned into a product that I could insert into one of my funnels as an upsell to another product that I was selling. So I already had a product that was running. So I'm running all this traffic to this core offer, but I could have an upsell of the recording of the Fire Your Job Masterclass in my actual funnel. So I would be increasing the average order value, right, of everybody that was coming for this one product, because I was upselling that masterclass. I believe I was selling it for like $100, and I sold a nice amount of these upsells at $100 a pop for a 3-hour recording that I previously already did, right? But I didn't just do it. I didn't just put together a presentation, or I didn't take a lot of time and put together all the slides and then put together this fancy looking funnel and this whole plan of how I'm going to market this thing and then release it. No, I just came up with the idea, validated it to the market, got it in front of people, see if they bit. They did, then boom. After that, I can create the deliverable. It's just like the person that I helped in my community, right? He had a promise that he was going to help Instagram theme pages monetize. Because if you didn't know, a lot of those faceless theme pages and whatnot, they don't know how to make any money. They know how to get views, but views don't equal money. So he had a big promise that he could teach them how to make money, right? So he put together the Google Doc, right, stating his big promise. People then paid him for the big promise first before he even created anything. And then he actually helped some people, or he provided the service to those people that bought into the promise. Then he documented his process, and then he turned that service that he documented into a digital product that he could sell to the mass market for money. But he didn't take the time to create this first. He took the time to just come up with the idea, properly communicated on a Google Doc with his promise. Then he collected the money, he fulfilled that promise, then he documented his process into a digital product that he could sell to the market over and over and over and over again and repeatedly profit. But if he couldn't validate it here, he would have never even got to this point. Whereas majority of people are just wasting a whole bunch of time on here to where they never even get to any money, because they don't know if they're making something for an intended person. They're just making something that they think people need. They're not making anything that they know that people need. And this is even done on the highest level of business. The richest guy on the planet, right? Elon Musk with Tesla. How does Elon Musk sell his Teslas, right? He doesn't just create them and then he sells them. What does he do? He hosts some type of event, and then he builds the anticipation and he pre-sells them. And then he actually takes a deposit for the pre-sale, and then He makes the cars with the money from the pre-sales to the mass market. We can do the same exact thing. And even if you don't go to this step of actually pre-selling, bare minimum, at least get a wait list, like get people waiting for it, so you actually have a pool of people to launch it to instead of just launching to nobody. I called it the Beyonce effect. Look, the Beyonce effect is this. People, they love Queen Bee. Like, I know that I'm on Beyonce's internet right now. People, they love and they adore her, but people, they don't love me like that. But a lot of people suffer from the Beyonce effect because I'm like, these people, they must think that just people just love them to whereas they cannot tell a soul that they have anything to offer, spend a whole bunch of time creating something and then just release it and think that people are gonna buy it. Why would they do that? You not Beyonce. I ain't either. That's why I do this. But look, there's a simple 5-step process to really get this to work for you and so that you can move fast with speed and test, right? So first, you want to identify and isolate a single problem, right? Only one problem. That's most people's problem, is that they're trying to fix every single problem. No, fix one problem. Identify and isolate one problem. And that one problem is going to be for one person, for one intended avatar, right? Then secondly, you make a bold and clear promise, right? Make a bold and clear promise to someone of how you can fix that isolated problem. 3, you build a simple checkout page, right? You build a simple checkout page. Or, like I said, not even that. My guy, my membership, he just had a Google Doc. Right? But I always have like just some simple landing page or some simple checkout page, but it can be as simple as a Google Doc. Run some traffic to it, get in front of people and talk to your ideal avatar. And this is real big right here. This talk word right here. Look, I know that we are building these online businesses. I know that we are wanting to grow our businesses online and make money online, but the more analog that you can stay in the digital world is going to be the separator for you. Because majority of people, like 99% of people, why they can't succeed is because they don't know who it is that they're serving. They don't know who it is that they're helping. And why? Because they're not talking to anybody. So like I said, with the member in my community that made this Google Doc, well, guess what he was doing? He got in front of people and he was talking to them, right? That's why they felt comfortable to buy his promise, because he spoke to them. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to speak to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, but most people that are struggling with this, they don't have that problem. You're only going to be talking to a handful or a few handful of people. And I'm telling you, the more analog that you are able to stay in a digital space, in a digital world, you will succeed, because everybody else is not doing this legwork to really isolate problems and to really speak to the people that they are helping, to where they know what it is that somebody needs so they can create it for them. And then, boom, 5, you just ask them to buy and you make some money. And then you go and build so you can fulfill on that bold and clear promise. If they pay, you build it. If they don't pay, you pivot. That's as simple as the game is. That's speed. That's leverage. That's how you build something people actually want and get numbers coming in online in your business, like all of them that you see on the screen right now. So if you're ready to make more working less online from stuff that you already know, go ahead and click the link down in the description and join this Credit at the Top community. For weekly coaching from myself, all my exclusive trainings, plus a private community of entrepreneurs, all designed to grow your business online. It's only $97 a month to join right now. That's less than a cup of coffee per day. So click the link down in the description to tap in, and I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. But look, and I've been there. You don't want to waste a whole bunch of time building something that you don't know that people want. Sell the promise first and then earn the right to deliver it. That's the move. So go ahead and click the link down in the description if you want to tap into the community. And I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. Go ahead and check out this video right here for a 3-step process to launch a successful online business. It's Credit at the Top.